Hello everybody, this is Toys R Us, and for this new figure showcase and review, we're going to be looking at the Studio Series 86. This is Deluxe Class Bumblebee. So what we're going to do, we're going to have a detailed look at him in both of his modes, help you decide how you want to display him. We'll have a look at the accessory and the packaging that comes with him. We'll do some comparisons of him with some of the other more recent Bumblebee molds, and of course we'll bring in some other Studio Series figures to see how he looks and displays with them. Before we get started, I need to thank Hasbro for this because they've very kindly lent me this figure to do the review on. Right, let's start off with some first impressions, and we're going to look, of course, at the robot mode, and that head sculpt is absolutely beautiful. It's fantastic. It is, of course, very reminiscent of the Generation 1 cartoon. You can see it's on a swivel peg, and it will look up and down ever so slightly, and it'll go all the way around, no problem whatsoever. You can see the shoulders are on ball and socket joints, so you can make the T, and again, you can swing these around with no restriction. There's then a swivel underneath the shoulder, there's a bicep flexion, and the wrists as well do swivel. You've got a waist swivel, the hips, these are tight, really tight, will kick all the way up nearly to the, oh it is, it's just at the right angle, and then they will go all the way back. And I think if we just bring the back slightly up, it's just, yeah, you'll be able to get right angle movements front to back from them. And also you can do the splits to the side. There's a swivel in the hip, there's a knee bend, and there's a huge, it's a bit higher than the ankle, but you can still do the tilt and the rock. And it also looks as well, yeah, like these at the back could be used just to tilt it up a little bit like heels as well. We've got a lovely Autobot symbol on the front there, which looks great. And the wheels there, these do fit. Are they rubber tires? No, they're plastic, but they look really rubber, to be honest. We've got detail there on the headlights, the blue on the eyes. There's not too much on this. It is, of course, colour-wise quite a basic figure. The packaging, let's have a quick look at that because it's really, really nice as well. So we've got the artwork there with the 86 logo. He, of course, comes in his robot mode. There we've got the picture on the side. And then on the back, we're going to have a look at the alternate mode in a second. We can see it's going to take 23 steps to transform. And also this, of course, confirms that it is a different mold and not the same as the Netflix one. The accessory that comes with him is this little blaster, which is quite nice because it's got the black handle and the silver just for the main part of colours. Right, what we're going to do now then, we're going to have a look in this alternate mode, then we'll come back, do the comparisons and do some display ideas. So here he is in his new alternate mode, and I've got to confess that in person it looks really, really good. And of course it is quite small, but that's the whole point of Studio Series figures, that they do all scale well together. It's such a great touch that they managed to get the Autobot logo on the front of the bonnet, and of course it's on the roof, so it's on his chest, so it appears in both modes, so it's, you know, animation accurate. This is hidden, tucked away behind the back of the leg. Yeah, the transformation process is deliberately not uploaded on this to keep the length of the video down and not to spoil it for people who don't want it spoiled for them. I know some people like specifically request when they get a new figure, they like to experience that transformation process for themselves, but if you do want to see it, you can see it is separately uploaded. The wheels are still completely confusing me. They look rubber, it looks so rubber, it's crazy, but it definitely isn't. They are plastic. You can see the silver on the inside, they're on 4 pins. This really does scoot around. If you could see below me, you could probably see just how fast it does in fact scoot around. There's a very, very tiny colour mismatch there, but to be honest, it's not too noticeable at all. I did read some comments as well where people said they'd have rather had the blue windows, but I think again in person it definitely works, and again it's definitely a better decision to go with this than the translucent ones. There is a little space on the back where we can attach his blaster for those people who like weapon storage. It fits on the back there, no issues whatsoever. There's not too much detail on it, of course, because it is just a little yellow beetle, and you can see there we've got just the bumper. And we've got the bumper at the back. That's literally it. It's just a nice little alternate mode. It's all about the robot mode. I can't see anybody else, to be honest, displaying this in any other mode. So let's get back to the robot mode and see what he looks like with some other figures in his toy line and indeed some other bumblebees. Here we are then, back for the final time with him in his robot mode, and as of course I've already said, this is definitely the best way I think to display him. So we can now attach the blaster into any hand. I do again like the fact that the silver is different to the handle. Of course, he is fully posable. I do know that I'm not the greatest at posing the figures, but with all of these joints, all of these little movements here, you can really see, I suppose, just exactly how posable he is. I'm just going to pop him there very quickly, and now what I'm going to do is just quickly jump to this background so I can fit more figures on for you. So this is his newest incarnation. This is the origin version of him. So again, you can see that they are different molds, and rather than bringing the Netflix one, I thought I'd bring the this is the other buzzworthy one that came in one of the Creatures Collide packs. So that is some of your newest bumblebees, all in the yellow, and that's why I didn't bring the Netflix, because he's of course a rather different color. Looking at them all, they do all look great, but I think you'll have to admit that the Studio Series 86 one does have the best head sculpt, and it does indeed look more cartoon accurate for me anyway. I definitely think it's looking more cartoon accurate. This one probably the closest, if I bring them closer just so you can see. And then the other one, and then of course, because he's Studio Series 86, we'll bring in some of the other Studio Series 86 figures. So because he's a mini bot, let's bring in Brawn first. Again, the scaling on these is fantastic. He probably is one of the smallest figures, and he does scale really well on there as well. Let's make sure we bring in the correct Ratchet rather than the one, unfortunately, whose battle damage to I think this backdrop is in fact from. And of course I've got an Ironhide as well, but what I'm going to try and bring in, he probably won't fit on the screen because he's too tall. Yeah, he's going to be too tall, but let's bring in us, even though he's not from Studio Series 86, let's bring in Leader Class Springer. And what I can do then, of course, yep, I'm going to pick up the camera just so again you can see there's your idea of scale. He definitely scales really well with them all, and indeed a great new little brand new mold for our favorite little bumblebee. There he is, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. Take care.